And if you would like, you can remove your shoes. So it just feels good to let your toes free, and for part of it we'll be doing some meditating, and so it's most effective if you sit kind of toward the front of your chair with your feet securely on the floor. So if you're a little shorter with these chairs, like I have to sit pretty far forward in order to keep my feet flat on the floor. So yeah, it'll just kind of take a little bit of adjusting. So, all right. So first we'll kind of go over a few things about meditation. Meditation is simply witnessing. So all you're doing is paying attention basically to the moment. And it's interesting because meditation has gotten, you know, I mean there's so many, I don't know if you'd call them like fallacies about meditation or myths about meditation, but this is broken down. That is what meditation is. We're just being present with whatever happens to be in this moment. So am I just present with my breath or how I feel in my body, or am I present, thank you, with what's going on in this very moment around me? A lot of times we have thoughts going on all the time. It's like that incessant, and they call this the monkey mind, because it's this incessant chatter that goes on in the mind when we're not concentrating on doing something else. So meditation can then just bring us out of that feeling of overactivity all the time. And just with a show of hands, like how many people feel like they're on constant? Oh yeah, yeah, most everybody. And it just is so nice to be able to just step away from that voice in the head, and just step away from it and just sit and breathe and be in the body. So there are a lot of different types of meditation. Finding what works for you is huge. It's key in having a successful practice. So one of the first things we'll talk about is what type of meditation is right for me. And if you already know this, if you already know if you are an auditory person, a visual person, or a kinesthetic person. So the kinesthetic person is the person who feels everything physically. The auditory person, of course, is the one who hears things, and the visual person can close their eyes and they can actually see pictures, colors, you know, that type of thing, or taking, going through like a guided meditation, and we're going to be doing a little bit of each one of these so that you guys can see kind of where you fit in, and that way when you go into your practice, if you pick the practice that doesn't work for you, you won't stick with it, and you won't feel like you get the benefits from it. So before we get started with that, just a quick show of hands of anybody who's already has a meditation practice or has in the past. Okay, great. Okay, yeah, some a little bit here and there. Great. Okay, so can I just ask you what type of meditation practice? Auditory. Mm-hmm. Okay. And what about you? Do you know
I just have an app.
Oh,
so it's music and
okay, so it's auditory too, a little bit. Okay, cool. Great, and that one definitely seems to resonate with a lot of people. So why don't we just start with the auditory one? So I'm just going to ask you to either close your eyes, or you can gaze, soften your gaze and let yourself kind of stare at something. So whichever one you're most comfortable with, you are going to sit like at the front of your seat so your feet are firmly grounded with the floor, and then just rest your hands in your lap. Good. Let your shoulders drop away from your ears, and then just take a couple of slow, deep breaths. Feel your breath. Notice your breath. And then allow your breath to start lengthening. As we let the inhalation last a little bit longer and the exhalation last a little bit longer, it soothes and releases the body. It's amazing how quickly that happens just with a few breaths. Good. So with this first meditation, I'm actually going to include all types, so auditory, visual, and kinesthetic. So you can just sit and follow my voice and see what happens for you. So this is the chakra meditation. We have 7 main energy centers in the body called chakras. So I'm going to ask you to first take your attention to your tailbone where the root chakra lies. And notice if you can feel the weight of your tailbone. The color associated with this root chakra is red. So if you are a visual person, maybe you can see the color red. And the sound for this chakra is LAM, L-A-M. And while I'm going through the meditation, you can feel free, if you are an auditory person, to, in your head, silently hear the mantra L-A-M, LAM, that sound. So feeling the root chakra, seeing it, or hearing the sound, and allowing yourself to just relax into the space of the root chakra. Inviting in intention for healing. This root chakra aids elimination, and it helps the base of the spine, the legs, and the feet. So you may feel energy radiating down your legs to your feet, or seeing a red light moving through your cells all the way down to those toes. Or if you're using the sound LAM, feeling the vibration of LAM moving through your legs. And then we're just going to bring our attention up about 3 inches up the spine into the sacral chakra. The color is orange, and the sound of the chakra is VAM, V-A-M. So just seeing this color or feeling the physical space of this chakra. And this chakra supports the genitals, its creativity and procreation. And so just allowing the energy, the orange light, the sound VAM, or just the physical sensation of energy move through your pelvic region and your low back. Just allowing all of your attention to be here in the body, in this moment. And then we'll go ahead and release that chakra, bringing our attention up in the solar plexus, which is located in between your lower ribs and your belly button. So right about the area of the physical stomach. And this color is yellow, and the sound is Ram, R-A-M. This energy center relates to our feelings, intuition, and the sun. And it is our main energy center for the energy that we produce throughout the day. So seeing the yellow light, feeling the physical energy, or hearing the sound Ram. And letting that light move out through your physical stomach, supporting all of your internal organs in this region. And then we'll release that color and chakra and move up the spine to the heart center. So the color of the heart chakra is green, and seeing the green light, feeling the energy around the heart area, or hearing the sound Yam, Y-A-U-M. This is one of our main healing centers in the body, receiving and giving unconditional love, life thought, life work, and supports the heart, lungs, hands, and arms. So as you focus in on this energy center, feel or see the green light as it moves through your torso, out your arms, and down to your fingertips. And we'll release the heart chakra, moving up into the throat chakra. The color is blue, and it's kind of a turquoise colored blue. The sound is Ham, H-A-M, and this is our center for communication, mantra, voice, our center of right speech, and also supports the thyroid gland. So seeing this turquoise light, we're feeling this energy radiating out into the throat, the neck, up into the teeth, the mouth, and the jaw, and down into that place where we tend to hold a lot of tension and stress, right at the base of the neck and out through the traps. And then releasing this chakra, moving up to the third eye, which is located right in between your eyebrows. The color is an indigo blue, which is a deep blue, like the color of our beautiful Colorado sky here. The sound is Om, A-U-M, And it relates to meditation, thought, seeing, vision, ideas, and supports the hypothalamus gland, the brain, and the eyes. So seeing this beautiful blue light radiating out through your head into your brain. Good. And gently letting that one go. And finally to the 7th chakra. This chakra is the crown chakra, which actually is located at the top of the head. Its color is violet, and the sound is Soham, S-O-H-A-M. It relates to the connection with the spirit, divine inspiration, enlightenment, and supports the pituitary and pineal glands. Feeling this light and energy radiating down from the top of the head all the way through the body and out the hands and feet. And then just gently let that color and chakra go. And we'll just breathe back into our own natural rhythm if you're not already there. Just feeling the body. Breathe. Letting go of the meditation, slowly coming back into the room. Good. So when you feel ready, just open your eyes. Come back into the room. And does anybody want to share anything about their experience? Okay. You don't have to. Just a question. So were you able to kind of get a feel if you're visual, auditory, or kinesthetic? Okay. Is anybody still kind of unclear about any of those 3? Okay. We're okay?
Generally, you're a combination.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you for bringing that up. Absolutely. So we can see color and feel that color as it moves through our body. And these sounds, when done vocally, you can actually feel them resonating in your body. You can feel the vibration, and it feels really wonderful. And we can even try it. Are you guys up for it? You don't want to sit in here long. We might have people in the next door wondering what's going on. Well, you can try them at home and just see. And sometimes you don't even have to have syllable, like you don't have to have certain sounds. You can just hum. And it's really interesting how much energy that creates in the body. It helps us to slow down our breath rate, which is huge. So, you know, when you're trying to extend sound, you have a longer exhalation. Our exhalations are directly linked in with our parasympathetic nervous system, and that is our relaxation system. And so when we're able to take that long exhalation or create that sound and make a long breath out of it, the body automatically responds by going into its relaxation. So this is really good to know, you know, because when we're tense and anxious and we've got a lot going on, or we're sitting in traffic and we're late, or, you know, we can use this anytime, anywhere. We have our breath, and so we can always bring ourselves to our breath.
And that's
Yep. Yeah, you can. You can do it over and over and over. And what's fun about the chakra sounds is that you can put all 7 sounds in one breath, and it's very powerful. It's very healing. So you would take your deep breath in and then start. I'll do it for you. Lam, vam, ram, yam, ham, om, so, hum. So that's just yeah. But you can also put harmony. I mean, so some chanting or song, something that resonates with you that you're doing over and over and over. It can be a short phrase. It can be a few phrases. You don't want it to get too lengthy because you want the repetition. It's in the repetition that you get the most out of chanting. So, and use something that really resonates with you. Like, if you want it to be in English words or in Sanskrit words or in no words at all. It can just be a sound, like, So, yeah, great. Good questions. Okay, so so when you know kind of what type of meditation is right, one of the things that meditation typically is not is exploration or concentration. So unless you are using meditation specifically for seeking, and so say you have something coming up and you want to visualize yourself doing well in that particular event or work situation, or maybe a situation with a customer that's hard to handle, those types of things. You can use visualization to see yourself staying calm and centered in those areas of life that don't feel so calm. So what you would do is you would start with just a few minutes of breathing, and then you would go into your visualization. So I'm going to actually talk you into one of these short visualizations, and then just see how it does for you. So you can once again close your eyes, place your hands comfortably on your lap, and your feet flat to the floor. This just gives us some grounding. So we'll just take a couple of breaths here. It shouldn't take us long since we're already in that relaxed state. Good. And then go ahead and call to mind some event that is in your future, not too far into the future, hopefully. And it can be anything. It can be work-related, it can be physical activity, it can be whatever comes to your mind, whatever you'd like to see. And just imagine yourself in that place. See yourself and try to get into that place as much as you can by maybe calling to mind what it looks like, what your environment looks like. How does it feel? What kind of smells are there? Is it outdoors or indoors? What is the temperature? Is it you alone, or are you with people? And then see yourself effortlessly going through the activity or situation. Staying centered and calm. seeing yourself full of confidence and power, your inner power and strength. And then noticing how that feels as you see yourself accomplishing your activity with ease. How does it feel in the body when you see yourself in that place? Good. And then just go ahead and return to your breath. And slowly open your eyes, coming back into the room. So this type of visualization can be done with anything, and it can be done with even past events. So you can see, you can call to mind something that has happened that maybe was challenging for you, and how you might handle it differently. So not so much letting ourselves go into like that daydream, like, ooh, I wish I would have, you know, that type of thing, but just seeing like, how would I have liked, you know, for this to have gone, you know, and we can learn from that and maybe not make the same, you know, mistake. There are no mistakes, but not making the same cycle happen over and over again. So we can always use these techniques in our life, you know, to help us along the way. So there's another one that I really like, and this one is going to be something that challenges you, okay? So we'll go into our little seated meditation again, and just bring your attention to your breath. And call to mind something that has been challenging you. This doesn't have to be big, and in fact, it's better to start small so that you can learn kind of the technique of this. So think about something that doesn't elicit a lot of emotions. So we don't want it to be a big attachment. Good. So once you've called to mind this thing that's been challenging, just allow yourself to think about it a little bit. And then feel the emotions around that thought. Where do you feel it in your body? What is the quality of the feeling in your body? Stay with the physical sensation as you allow the thoughts about it to fall away. Stay in the body and see the thoughts kind of floating away. Stay with the sensation in the body. If the thoughts start to resurface, see yourself being very disinterested in them and return to your body. as you stay with the quality of the sensations, notice if the sensations start to change. How is the feeling in the body? We're staying with the body without thought. We're not feeding the fear. We're not feeding the story. And then allow yourself to think about the challenge again. So allow a little bit of that thought to come back in. Notice the quality in your body. If that sensation or emotion starts to change as you recall, as you bring in thought, and as you allow yourself to kind of dwell in that challenging thought. And then one more time, we're going to let that thought fall away and just be in the body. And noticing what happens to the quality of that sensation in the body when we let go of the thought. And then we'll just slowly start to come back into the room. Whenever you're ready, you can feel free to open your eyes. So the interesting thing about this type of exploration is that it teaches us, I am not my thoughts. I'm not my thoughts. I can simply drop thought, and here I am, without the story, without fear, worry, everything that we have wrapped up in like our thoughts. And that is so powerful when we learn that we're not our thoughts. It's like stepping out of what has been autopilot. You know, we're going along, interacting in the world the way that we always have interacted from that kind of sleep place. When we step out of that, we learn, oh, wow, I'm not my thoughts, and I actually have a choice. I can say, you know, I really don't want to think those thoughts, and we start letting them go, and it's very interesting. And that lesson I had gotten a long time ago. The new lesson that I had just in the last year learned was, I'm not my emotions. That was big, because I remember hearing teachings that said, you know, go by your gut instincts, go by how you feel about something. But if I'm not my emotions, then I don't have to necessarily go in that direction either, right? So if I'm feeling very emotional, I know I'm not my emotions. Emotions are just passing through me. And I don't need to push my emotions down. I don't need to step on them and feel like, okay, I can't have emotions. I let them move through me, and so that they can go on their way. So we're kind of like this entity that has a radio station in that fuzzy kind of radio sound, you know, so you've got your thoughts going by all the time. You've got your emotions going by all the time. We even have our bodies that are constantly changing. We feel different sensations by thoughts that we conjure up or listen to or grasp onto. Or if, you know, you wake up and you're just off, you know, and maybe it's the weather, or maybe it's like something that you ate, or maybe you didn't have enough sleep, or maybe it's just, you know, nothing, but you're off a little bit. And knowing that, you know, I'm not my body, I'm not my emotions, and I'm not my thoughts, you know, and having that little bit of disconnect or separation. Because when we are very attached to, oh my God, my body, falling apart, getting overweight, getting too skinny, getting, you know, itching, like, you know, whatever it's experiencing, I am not my body. It's just a sensation. It's just an experience. And this is what meditation teaches us. It teaches us to look inside and go into that constant, the thing that never changes. And that's our, you know, spirit, or, you know, whatever you want to call it. You know, it's in there and it's a constant. It is the witness. And basically we're just witnessing everything that's coming through. We're witnessing our thoughts, we're witnessing emotions, we're witnessing how we interact with people, we're witnessing, you know, the weather. So whatever is going on, we're just a witness. So I have a choice. And a lot of times, and a very interesting thing too, is the ego. I have a choice, and I can either choose peace, that calm and centered place, or I can choose to be right. And the ego is very tricky, because being right, oh my gosh, if you tell the ego, you know, like, can you really just drop being right in this moment, you know, having to have your say or your opinion or your, I mean, even thought about yourself, you know, can we just let go? Can we just choose peace over letting the ego kind of control? And that is a huge, huge freedom when we can not be ruled by ego. And it's interesting, and you can practice this, and I've practiced it a lot, and it's fun. You kind of can make a game out of it. And the practice that I do is sometimes, you know, if I'll be talking to somebody and I'll notice I really want to get my point across. And in that moment, I'm just like, you know what if I just didn't? What if I just didn't get my point across? What if I could just sit here, be at peace, and just listen? And it's amazing. It really, truly is amazing how once we can start letting go and being okay with that, it's really amazing. It is freedom. I mean, that's like the word that most describes what you feel. It's like this whole, like everything is just lifted off of your shoulders, and all of a sudden you're like, oh, I'm fine. Like everything is fine. Everything is perfect as it is. I don't need to change anything. I don't need to, you know, it just is, it is. And it's wonderful. So I don't have to be ruled by ego. And ego comes in so many forms. I mean, we always think about, oh, the egotistic person, you know, who knows it all and who thinks they're this or that. But it's also the victim. You know, that is ego. I am the victim, or, you know, it's everybody is against me. That is ego. And it is ego attachment. So ego is very tricky. Like, you know, it's fear-causing, it's hatred, it's separateness, it's all of these things. And it's not just the confident, you know, the overconfident. So starting to watch our egos and where they flare up, where you wouldn't even expect them to flare up, and just seeing if you can in that moment, and the power is always in the present moment. We can't really do anything about things that have already happened. And so in this moment, can I choose peace? And one of the things that's super important that I also have notes on here is the Sedona method teaches us to be able to let go. And so when we're going into that, you know, the place of ego where we're coming into our everyday situations and letting it kind of rule us, you know, it's that reaction. So when we're in ego, we are very reactive. You know, they said this, so I'm going to say this type of, you know, reaction. And in the Sedona method, we learn to ask ourselves questions because, and you'll notice, if I tell myself, you need to go work out today, like no question, you're going to work out. What is my first reaction? I'm not going to do that, because we're telling ourselves what to do. So this is really big, and this is one of those things that we don't realize, you know, but all of us know when we're told to do something, we're going to do the opposite. That's ego, and our egos do not like to be told what to do, not even from ourselves. And we all have that inner critic, we all have that inner voice that is constantly, I mean, I know mine is constantly writing myself, constantly after, you know, you've got to do this, you've got to be perfect at that, all these things. And so when then you can, instead of hearing the voice say you must or you should, you ask yourself, can I? You know? And when we ask ourselves, you know, would you like to exercise today? It's amazing. You can say no. You can say no, and you are authentic, and it creates space. You can say yes, and you are authentic, and it creates space. And it creates this amazing energy in yourself. It's because anytime we say no to what is, so if I tell myself, you know, you should do this, then there's this automatic contraction around it, you know, because then you feel resentful, you feel angry, you feel, you know, all these emotions come up, and no, I'm not going to do this, and I can't do this, and, you know, and then you're at this like war with yourself. But then you switch it around to asking yourself permission for things, and our egos like to be asked permission, you know. So we ask ourselves, can I? Can, you know, and you can put it in, you can say can you. You don't have to put it in I, first person. But you can ask yourself these questions, and then as they come up, whether you say yes or no to it, it doesn't matter. But do answer it authentically. So we'll do just so I can get a little bit more clear about what I'm talking about for you, we'll go through another little exercise here, okay? So go ahead and close your eyes. Let yourself sit nice and relaxed, shoulders out of your ears. Just take a couple of breaths. Okay, so choose something that you would like to be able to let go of that isn't too emotionally charged. So just something really that you do want to let go of, but you're not super attached to it right now. And then ask yourself if you can just allow this. It's fine if the answer is no. And it is fine if the answer is yes. Bring your attention to the experience you are having in this moment. When you answer no, ask yourself if you can just allow this. Can you allow yourself to answer no? If you answered yes, can you just allow the sensation or whatever it is that's coming up for you? Can you allow the feeling of resistance, attachment, of anything else that may feel uncomfortable or even good? Because sometimes we can't allow good. A lot of times we can't allow the good. And then ask yourself again, with this thing that you would like to change, ask yourself, can you just allow it to be what it is? Once you get to a yes answer in this, you can ask yourself, can I let it go? The answer can be no. The answer can be yes. Whatever the answer is, let it be. Just allow. Practice allowing each answer with each question that you present to yourself, and be completely present. Good. And then just gently let yourself return. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes. Good. Would anybody like to share anything from that? That technique comes from the Sedona method. And it's on the back here, so you don't have to write it down. It's the book is fantastic, and that was one of the books that I had most recently read, and that's when I kind of learned that, oh, I'm not my emotions either, you know, because I always kind of went by, well, how do I feel about this, you know? But we can step back even from that and start to just ask ourselves these simple questions. And we can create so much more peace in our lives with these types of tools. So they are tools, and it's not necessarily meditation, but you get into that meditative place when you're using the visualization, the guided meditation, even listening to like a talk, you know, on something like a Dharma talk. There's lots of podcasts out there that have teachers that talk about different aspects of things that we go through. So, so there's those explorations, but just simple meditation is just being with the breath. And that doesn't always work for everyone. At first, it can be very challenging because you feel like you're, you know, well, my mind keeps pulling me away, and I'm daydreaming, I'm falling asleep. You know, that's a big one in meditation, is like actually falling asleep. And so you can start small. And recommended through Insight Meditation is 1 minute twice a day. That's pretty doable, you know. So what we do is set our times for, and typically it's when you rise in the morning and when you get ready for bed at night. And so you can sit your 2 minutes a day for a week, and then next week add a minute, 2 minutes at each time. And over the course of 20 weeks, up to, well, whatever, how many ever weeks that's going to take you to get up to a 30-minute or even a 45-minute meditation, it won't feel like 30 minutes when you get to 30 minutes because you've done the groundwork. You've set yourself up for success by doing those super tiny, you know, short times, you know, to meditate. So the Insight Meditation is just watching or following your breath, and then as thoughts and stuff come in, you recognize them. Oh, I'm thinking, you know, you can label it, you can say thinking, and then you just gently bring yourself back. If you've lost minutes and minutes, like out there in dreamland, don't beat yourself up. Just say, oh, I've been out there. Here I am. And you just gently bring yourself back over and over and over. But when we get to that place where we're cultivating that peace, it's so much easier. Like all the rest of life is just so much easier. So, and you can use meditation for sleep. It's really great at night to spend 5 minutes before you lay down. A lot of times insomnia is because our mind will not shut up. And so bringing ourselves into a practice of relaxation, of letting go of everything so that we can sleep peacefully is huge. And also, if you wake up in the night and can't get back to sleep, you can also use it there. And if you're, and don't feel like you have to sit for meditation. If you need to lie down, if you're already in bed, I mean, feel free. You know, just while you're lying there, feel the sensations in your body. Bring your attention to your toes. Bring your attention to your breath. Bring your attention to your third eye. This place, even touching this place on us, this third eye right in between the eyebrows and the bridge of the nose, this is so soothing. And if you just touch that area and take a couple of breaths, you just get, I mean, it's like instant relaxation. You can do this to children. You can do this to pets. If your cat is, you know, wild, rub it right there. And it's amazing in a few moments, like you've had that experience, yeah. It just puts them at ease. We can use that for ourselves, and it's really helpful. So for sleep, we can also use meditation for getting the things that we want. So, and that whole visualization thing. And I know I meant to talk about this, and we have a few minutes left, because I talked about nutrition on our last Lunch and Learn, and I said, okay, well, I'll definitely talk about, you know, using the mind for weight. And one of the things with our weight is that it's in our head that we are this weight. And when we can change what's in our head, then our body will follow, because our body believes everything we tell it. It can't be any other way. It can't. The body responds and is the way we tell it. And most of the time, it's unconscious. We are unconsciously telling our bodies how they are, you know? And it's interesting. It's not, and it may not be in the form of the thought of, I am fat, or I am, you know, whatever. It can be more subtle. I'm not good enough. I'm not worthy. I'm lonely. I'm separate. You know, all these things make us eat. Why? Because we feel like we have to fill something up. And so this is, you know, can be very, very beneficial is when we can start hearing that voice that we're not tuned into all the time, because it's a broken record. It is a voice that somebody else gave you. If you think about it, and if you do the exploration of going back, who told you you weren't good enough when you were young? And we are very, very influenced in our 0 to 2 years because we don't have language and we don't have filters. And so what was told to you before 2, you know, and of course, I mean, we're probably not going to be able to recall what we were told before 2. But just think about your environment from you know, from your upbringing. Like, what was your family like? What was your, you know, how was your interaction with your mother? How was your interaction with your father, your brother, your sister? Those types of things. And you know, as you start to explore, then you can get to that place of, oh, I didn't even realize that my mantra my entire life has been, I'm not good enough. It's why I always am seeking perfection. It's why I'm always trying to be something bigger, better, you know, because I'm trying to make up for the lack of, I'm not good enough. So it's this could be a whole nother talk. But for time's sake, and I did give some book recommendations on the back, and some of this stuff that I'm bringing up is from, you can find a lot of information in these books. And then I am always available. I love to talk about this stuff and help others, just because I've done so much of this type of exploration in the last 20 years. And so I'm absolutely happy to help in any way. So, all right. Well, thank you so much, everybody. You're welcome.